By now, we've all heard the hype around NFTs and gaming, but with so many projects out there, it's hard to distinguish the best from the rest. In today's video, we're going to look at a new type of project which is innovative, unique, exciting, and may even pave the way for GameFi projects of the future. In today's video, we're going to cover the NFT phenomenon, which is Wolfgame. If you're interested in learning what makes Wolfgame so unique, and potentially some alpha drops of some other projects which we're excited about as well, like, comment, and subscribe on the video. We are Send It, and let's get into it. So what actually is Wolfgame? Well, in today's video, I'm going to give an overview of the game itself, go into some of the details and innovations which we think makes it so unique as an NFT project, but I'm going to try avoid going into every single detail and mechanic within the game because we'd be here forever. Now, the game itself is unique from the off. It's actually the first on-chain risk protocol based on Ethereum, which utilizes both NFTs and the play-to-earn mechanic. The game itself revolves around two main characters. You have the wolves and the sheep. And the game so far has been split into four main phases. So we've had the initial game, which launched back in November. We've since played Risky Game. We're currently playing Alpha Game, which is active right now. And then we've got the full game, which is due to release later this year. But in today's video, I'm going to cover each of them and what we think made them so special. So what was the initial game actually all about? Well, the game itself launched back in November of 2021. Initially, there was 10k items available to mint. You had a 10% chance of minting a wolf, and there was a 90% chance of minting a sheep. The game itself was quite straightforward. Players had the opportunity to stake their assets within the barn or the staking contract. Sheep would produce 10,000 wool per day, which was the ERC20 and in-game token. They could do a couple of things with this. You could sell it on the open market, or as you can see here, you could actually use it to mint more sheep and wolves, which were first generation from within the game itself as well. Now, wolves had a pretty good deal. They could actually tax the sheep for 20% of all the wool production, and not only that, they actually had a 10% chance of stealing these newly minted NFTs from within the game as well. So it was pretty unique. It's the first time we've ever seen NFTs being able to tax other NFTs, and it's also the first time we've ever seen NFTs or in-game assets being able to steal them from other players as well. So it was a brand new level of game theory, super exciting, and completely unique from anything that we'd seen within the NFT space so far. This more or less resulted in an explosion in excitement and hype, as you can see from the infographic here. Wolfgame, in terms of NFT volume, number 2 only to Bored Ape Yacht Club on the daily here, and we saw around 10k volume within the first week. And the most crazy thing to me when I was playing it is around 98 or 99% of the assets were actually staked within the game itself. Because the sheep were generating 10,000 wool per day, this actually equated to around $1,500 to $2,000 a day at its peak. So when people realized they could make this kind of passive income from the game, you know, more or less all the assets were staked within the game, and this actually led to a floor price at its peak of around 7 Ethereum per asset. Super exciting because it was brand new and it introduced these innovative concepts. It was no wonder that it took the NFT community by storm. So next up, we actually had Risky Game. Now, it's worth mentioning actually the initial game was due to last around 3 to 4 weeks with staking rewards, but due to an exploit within the contract, the game was cut prematurely short. Now, the creator, the founder, the man we only know as the Shepherd, he decided to migrate contracts over, and to kind of conclude the first game, we had Risky Game in its place. Now, the game itself was a game for the sheep. It was designed pretty much to distribute the initial staking rewards. So there was around 2.2 billion tokens that were left to be distributed from the initial game that weren't, due to obviously the exploit like I mentioned. Now, this was a game for sheep, so sheep had the choice. They could either choose to play Risky Game or not. Now, if they choose not to play it, they would get a small proportion of these 2.2 billion tokens, and they would pay a 20% tax to the wolves as per normal. or if they did choose to play the risky game, this one was a bit more for the gamblers, but effectively it would give them an opportunity to get a much larger proportion of these rewards. But it was more or less 50-50 odds. Either you would win risky game, or if you lost it, you would actually get no wool whatsoever. So it was pretty innovative. It was, again, another level of game theory. But wolves got to enjoy themselves. They just got to sit back and either take 20% on those who took the safe option. But obviously any sheep who lost risky game, wolves would receive 100% of their wool as well. So it's pretty innovative. From this, we had wool pouches, which I'm going to speak on a little bit as well. So following on from risky game, it was quite clear actually that the team or the Shepherd couldn't really release 2 billion liquid wool tokens into the market, probably destroy the price of wool with all that sell pressure, and if not, destroy the game a little bit as well. So this is where we saw the next incredible innovation from Wolf Game, and this was with the wool pouch. Now what a wool pouch is, it's actually an ERC721 token or an NFT, which actually holds ERC20 tokens or cryptocurrencies within it. Now it's the first time we've seen anything like this, and here's an example of one. It shows how much wool was locked within the NFT and kind of the unlock period over time. Now these would drip wool over a 4-year period, so players could obviously hold these and constantly get wool released every day and every week. Or they could freely sell them on the open market for a profit. And this did a couple of things. Number one, it kind of helped the longevity of the game, because now we would have a much healthier release of the wool token into the ecosystem for the project. And also it probably put the wool in the right hands for those who wanted to hold it. And for those who didn't, you know, it was an excellent opportunity to be able to make some money. But again, just an incredible innovation to what was quite a negative situation initially, was turned into a huge positive and probably was a blessing in disguise for the project long term. So the third stage of Wolf Game, and the game we're playing currently, is Alpha Game. Alpha Game is going to be the final interim game before the full game's released, hopefully within the next few months. The game itself is a team game. Now, if you do want to find the full details, you're much better off going to the website, because it's, there's quite a lot to it, and I don't have time to explain it all here and now. But the long and short of it, effectively, Alpha Game is a team game. Now, there are 14 Alpha 8 wolves within the game, because there's different rarity of wolves ranging from Alpha 5 to Alpha 8. There are 14 within the game, and the Alpha Game itself is just simply about placing as high on the leaderboard as you possibly can. So packs, effectively try and recruit other sheep, other wolves, and players are able to pledge their assets or their wool to a certain pack in the hope of getting rewards. Now, the way it'll work, the first place pack will have 20% of the rewards, whereas 14th would only get 2.5. So packs and players are incentivized to get in a pack which places as high as possible. But it's worth mentioning that the rewards are distributed between the number of assets that are staked. So once again, there's an element of game theory where trying to work out what the greatest proportional of rewards are as a player is where it takes a bit of big brain. But the game itself is really fun. There's been a few interim games within it, so different kind of events and stuff to try and instigate some activity, as you can change pack. As I mentioned, there's tons to it, so you're better off having a look on the website itself if you're interested in finding out more. But the most interesting thing for me was the prize pool that the Shepherd put out. Now, there was 500 million wool available as a prize, which is to be split between the packs. Now, at its peak, wool was priced at 50 cents back in January when the game just started, which made that a prize pool of $250 million to be split between the players which are playing. So Wolf Game tends to do this, where there's just constant incentive to play, to stake, to be involved. And even at current prices, we're looking at around 50 to 60 million dollars as a prize pool, which crazily would make it over 50% higher than the number one or largest overall prize pool in esports history. So this small, quite novel blockchain game has effectively, Alpha Game will have the biggest rewards in all of esports history from any game ever, which is just absolutely astronomical. But yeah, we're playing this currently now, and it's going to be the final game before we see the full game release. So currently with the full game, we can only really speculate as to what it's going to look like in its entirety. There's a few things we do know. Obviously, it's going to include some key assets. So we're going to have the wolf and sheep, which are playing an active role once again. There's going to be Genesis land within the game. So players are going to have plots of lands, assumably to rear the sheep, to whatever else the shepherd has decided to do with the land. But, you know, we're going to have a wolf game metaverse. There's also going to be farmers within the game. Again, these have been confirmed as being able to increase the production of any assets which are utilized on the land themselves. And obviously, we're going to have the wool pouches as well. So the few things we do know, as I mentioned, there's going to be a metaverse type game. There's been some speculation. Is it going to be something along the Farmville lines? As you can see here from the memes, there's a few hints but no confirmations. We know that wool is going to be absolutely integral and central to the game itself. And also an interesting aspect is breeding is definitely coming back. So we're going to see sheep being able to breed once again. I assume that means we're going to see wolves stealing sheep probably once again. And yeah, as I mentioned, we're more or less only speculating in terms of what the full game is actually going to be like. But the thing that excites me most about it is with some of the innovations that we've seen from the team already, and the fact that we got wool pouches in only a few weeks after what was a negative situation turned into, you know, quite a positive one. I'm just so excited to see what the shepherd and the team are actually going to do after months and months of development with the game. And yeah, we know it's going to be a play-to-earn, risk-based metaverse, which is played online. As for the details, that's why we're all here. But yeah, a full game should be coming in the next few months. I hope we see it sooner than later. So I just wanted to recap before we move on some of the key things that, as I mentioned, I think separates Wolf Game from the rest of the industry. And it all centers around innovation. It's the first time we've seen game theory and risk truly embedded into a game at a protocol level, all verifiable on chain. It's the first time we've seen NFTs which can tax other NFTs or steal other NFTs from other players. The development of wool pouches, which is the first time we've ever seen an NFT which can now release tokens like it's some sort of vesting schedule of a cryptocurrency. They're all true innovations. And one thing I've not touched on yet, but I will in a moment, is the community side of stuff, which is quite incredible as well. So crypto was born out of innovation, and for me, any teams or projects or anything that centers itself around doing that continually is a bet I'm willing to take. And that's exactly what I see with Wolf Game. And outside of all the fun, the excitement, the memes, the gains, this is what kind of separates it from the rest of the pack in my eyes, and you know, is something that I can bet on into the longer term. So there's a final point I wanted to make on Wolf Game, and it just centers around the community itself. And there's an incredible community, as there are with many top NFT projects. You see it with Bored Apes, previously probably with CryptoPunks and so on. But the community for Wolf Game truly is, again, another thing that I see as being unique. A lot of the followers are, you know, super interested, very active. Almost Wolf Game maxis, many of them. You just have to search on Twitter to be able to see some of the activity, and there's tons of incredible content out there. But there's a few I wanted to shout out individually. There's community member made actual websites now, and we've got wolfgame.tools here, which shows you everything from alpha game, floor data, all the metrics you could possibly need. You're able to search your own address. You can see how much your assets are worth in dollars. Are they going up? Are they going down? What your wool pouches are doing, how much they release every day. Just some really, really interesting information that you would obviously need if you were active in the game. And it's incredible, again, it's community made by the members. We also have wolfgame.live. Again, similar things. It shows the active floor prices. You've got every bit of detail you could possibly need from it. What everything's sold for. Again, check your pouch numbers. What are you releasing? What does it look like in ETH? What's it like in dollars? And there's a few, obviously, members that personally stick out to me ever since I got into the community. See a lot of British Santo. Again, hopefully I'm not butchering any of the names here. But again, tons of tons of content from these guys, some incredible gifs from Terminatus, again hopefully not butchering the name, but I'm going to include all of these guys, especially the creators and stuff, on the screen as well. Include them in the description so you can go and check them out. But the one thing I wanted to finish on was literally something that I found on Twitter from a gentleman called Pixel Eyes, and he created a Wolfgame trailer as part of the alpha game, actually, I believe. But it was a trailer for Wolfgame, and I wanted to include it as a closing out part for the Wolfgame part of this episode, before we go and touch on a couple of more exciting play-to-earn projects that I've been looking at. But I'll include that now. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Personally, I thought it was incredible, and yeah. So the last thing I wanted to do in today's video is just touch on a couple of other play-to-earn projects that have really caught my attention. Again, ever since Wolfgame, I've been really keen on finding projects that can utilize this risk element or have very clever tokenomics, especially within GameFi and play-to-earn. And there's a couple of projects that really caught my attention. Super original ideas, they've got fantastic teams, seem like they're executing incredibly, so I wanted to give them a shout out in the video as well. Firstly, we're going to look at the Luck Labs project, and then we're going to have a look at CITADEL as well, so stick around for them. So the first project I wanted to look at is Luck Labs. Now, Luck Labs is a play-to-earn weed game. Effectively, it's powered by an in-game high token, and the aim of the game is simply centered around building your own weed empire or farming your own weed. Players are going to have the opportunity to own some of these beautiful in-game buds. So there's going to be 20 Gen 0 buds which are available to mint very soon if you have a green pass. There's a couple different ones of these, so there's 20 different Gen 0 buds, and these are going to be used for breeding, for staking. You're even able to burn them, and by breeding them together we're going to see more generations of weed within the game as well, all in the quest for the much sought after high token. So really immersive in-game tokenomics and in-game ecosystem for the high, which you want to check out on the website. They've got a full green paper, as they'd call it, which is available at the moment. There's going to be loads of in-game assets. We're also going to see shops within the game. There's going to be land for your breeding, your staking, which all players are going to get to use for accumulating their high tokens. And to be honest, it just seems very innovative, and it's got a lovely feedback loop in terms of the token itself and the utility within the game, as many of these assets will only be able to be bought with the high token within the game itself. Now currently you can get the green passes and the OG passes on OpenSea. These were minted a few weeks ago now. The OG passes, as you can see, have a humongous floor. These have been selling between around 5 and 7 ETH, some for a bit more. So the cool thing was these were actually a free mint for early contributing members into the community. So these were minted for free, and they've been selling between $14,000 and $20,000. The green passes as well, or 3x or so from where they were minted. And like I say, the bud mints are coming soon. If you want the full information, you're best off going to the website. But super excited about this one, really excited to mint the buds, and more than excited to play the game itself. So the last project I wanted to talk about is Citadel. Now, Citadel is still super early, but it's incredibly exciting play-to-earn game. It's a strategy game, so similar to traditional games like Civilization, if you've ever played those. But it has some of the most exciting play-to-earn mechanics I have seen from any blockchain game, if I'm honest. Super original concept. Players are able to own the highly prized Gen 0 Citadels. These are minted, controlled, sieged, and can even be destroyed in the game, which is based around survival, destruction, and kind of wealth accumulation as well. Now, the game is centered around the in-game token Drachma. Drachma is one of the more interesting play-to-earn or ERC20 tokens that I've seen, because it really is embedded into the heart of the game itself. For me, conceptually, they've nailed what it is to be a play-to-earn game. Drachma is fully embedded in the sense that it's not just used to incentivize players to play or kind of increase their rewards, but it actually is used, to even protect your assets. And the feedback loop on this one is absolutely astronomical with some of the things that they've included. You're definitely better having a read of the white paper, as I can't do it just in a minute or two here. But Drachma can be used to fortify your assets. It can be used to attack other citadels, and it truly is a strategic game with what I see as a great pull and push demand on their in-game token Drachma. The team seems amazing. They've got years of experience building similar games in traditional gaming, and there's even rumors of a globally renowned artist within gaming who's worked in console gaming, who's currently doing the visuals for the game. As I've mentioned, it's still super early, but feels like one that should not be missed. I think currently the Discord is closed, so maybe have a look on Twitter, have a look on the website, see if you can get in somehow. But I would not want to miss this if I was you. Now, for either of the games that I've mentioned, if you are interested in them, pop a comment down below. I would love to do a video on either of these. Let us know what you're most excited about or what you found most interesting in the video today, and I'll be sure to get onto that as well. If you have got this far, then thank you ever so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe on the video. It helps us a lot. Let us know in the comment section anything that you've enjoyed from today's episode or anything that you'd like to see from us going forward. But as I mentioned, I'll leave all the links in the descriptions from any content we've used today, and we are Send It. We're part of the Crypto Ran group, so check out the links for ourselves down below as well.